That was awesome.
Thank you. And hello, everybody, and welcome to the Entertainment Headquarters, and welcome to the Retro Classic Movie Show, the show on my channel where I talk about any film from, say, the 1970s up to the early 2000s. And with me to talk about the next film that's a part of the show is a group of amazing guests. Of course, my co-host, Mr. DJ Anubis.
What's up?
And along for the ride with us too is Mr. Tony of the Dead.
Hello, thank you.
Going the wrong way. There we go. There he is.
And finally, the lady of the hour. Not just, his co-host on his channel, the Metal Tavern Radio, but his partner in life, his partner in crime, his Harlequin to his Joker, Mrs. DJ Neko. Yeah, so the film we're about to talk about is from 1987, and this is actually the winner of a poll that I put on my channel, and this is actually the audience's choice. So this was voted by the audience, and this has been chosen by them. This was the poll that I put up. So we had Alien, we had Predator, yes, we had RoboCop, and then at the end there we had Die Hard. And in the end, as you can see, Predator was the outcome. It was the winner. 117 people voted on that. So
That's
that
crazy.
is that.
By a landslide.
117 people. So this is your choice. It is Predator. And obviously, this was an idea actually by DJ Anubis to do a poll. He said, well, why don't we put a poll up and see what people would like to review on this channel? And that was the outcome. So good choice and good idea there by Mr. Anubis. He's not just good looking, folks. He's very intelligent.
He's very intelligent.
What is he talking about? I don't know.
And handsome.
Yes. So let's get cracking with the film of the hour, Predator 1987. So I'm just going to mention this little bit. So Predator is a 1987 American science fiction action film directed by John McTiernan and written by brothers Jim and John Thomas. Arnold Schwarzenegger stars as Dutch, the leader of an elite paramilitary rescue team on a mission to save hostages in the guerrilla-held territory of Central America rainforest, who encounter the deadly Predator, a skilled, technologically advanced alien who stalks and hunts them down. It also stars Carl Weathers. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce the lady's name. Does anyone want to have a crack at it? The lady star.
Elpidia Carrillo.
That's the lady.
Yeah.
Bill Duke, Richard Chov, Jesse Ventura, Sonny Lanham, and Shane Black. And as we know, Shane Black went on to become a director in his own right. So,
Yeah.
where would you like to start?
I'd never even seen this movie.
That I actually believe.
Yeah, right.
Really?
Yeah, right. No. I've seen
He
this.
probably has like 10 copies of it on his
So-
back wall there.
All of our viewers, if you look to the left and to the right of Mr. Tony of the Dead, he's got about 5,000 movies, and
He's
Predator is up there.
No, I don't watch any of them.
It's just for show.
It's pretend, but I can't believe you haven't seen it. So
No, I have. I was only
oh,
joking.
you're such an ass. Sorry.
It's one of my favorite movies.
Is this the Predator movie you're talking about?
No.
This one?
That's the Jean-Claude Van Damme outfit.
Yeah.
Yes. So
So
for
those are
those that
Jean-Claude.
do not know, Jean-Claude Van Damme was involved in the beginning process of Predator, and this was the actual design that
Concept,
oh yeah, and
Ugh.
you know that's him on set. and this is in the actual costume for those that might not believe that was Jean-Claude Van Damme, but there you go, there he is actually in the costume.
It's not too terrible, but because we have enjoyed Predator for so many years, you are used to, like, I don't know if that's his hair that's coming off, but then the mouth and then the mask
the other
and
thing
everything.
is, like, unfortunately, that version of the Predator looks like something you pick up on a C-rated film. Like what they ended up with is far superior.
So
to
that's
what
like
they
that's like
starting with
the Sheehan
And-
version of Predator instead of, like, the upgraded version of Predator.
Yeah.
Well, they say
and
you look too much like a bug.
So
Yeah,
outfit,
it looks like a sequel to the film Them from the 1950s. That's how bad it looks.
Why they like switched gears and went with a different design of the Predator, or I mean, did they not ever elaborate on it?
I think
They probably ran into the same problem. They probably said to themselves, we had a concept, but this doesn't look right. I can only imagine that's, if I was at, if Arnold Schwarzenegger, who's like the top of his fucking game, you have Carl Weathers, he was big, Jesse Ventura, all these guys, these great actors, like, you can't go in with that bug looking thing and get to pass off as an alien.
And I mean, that's happened before. Seriously. I mean, it's happened with other movies where they screen test.
I think part of it
and
too,
they're like,
is because Van Damme, martial arts. I think they were expecting the alien to have some sort of skill set in a sense of, like, maybe martial arts, kicking or whatever, and then they changed it up probably to give him more of like a technological advancement with the weapons and the blades and stuff like that.
You know all about that. DJ Anubis, he used to have a poster of the Predator, and it was like,
actually, it was right when they were promoting Predator 2.
And it was the Predator, but it had like lists of every single one of his weapons.
Did you? Someone stole mine. I was so pissed.
Yeah,
and I can't find it anymore either.
Like a line, right? And it's like, this is
yes,
yeah. The disc and
I don't have it anymore.
So that could have been, what ended up being the Predator, but thank God it wasn't, because obviously I think if that ended up being the Predator, even if the story was the same, the tone of the film was the same, everyone would probably look back and go, Arnie did a great job, the cast did a great job, but the creature design was fucked up. The creature design would have let the film down. The fact that Stan Lee came up with what he did, not Stan Lee, Stan Winston. It's the fact that Stan Winston came up with what he was able to create, that also helped make the film a cult classic. It's obviously, the design of the Predator is just legendary and it's iconic, just like the Xenomorph from Alien. If you think of Alien and you think, oh well, what would have looked like if it looked different, no one would want to look at anything else, because they're that used to what the Predator is and the Alien, the Xenomorph, that you can't picture anything else in its place because it's become that iconic.
Exactly. 100.
Yeah, so let's press on and talk about Predator. So obviously the film starts off where you actually see you get this shot of outer space, and then it leads into Earth, and then you see this small pod that's, ejected and lands somewhere on the planet Earth. And at the time you don't know where, but you clearly know as soon as that happens, bad shit's gonna go down. Mm-hmm. And the next thing you know, you're in the middle of the Vietnam War, and you've got Major Allen, Dutch, it is Dutch. You've got Dutch and his military rescue team, and they're kind of recruited to go on this kind of rescue mission. And the mission is to rescue, I think it's like an American diplomat or something, whose helicopter or plane apparently has been shot down in the jungle. And, we've got them, and you've got Dylan. And Dylan, who is obviously knows from his past, his history, he's the one that kind of, involved in the plot to basically rescue this diplomat or this military higher up, and they go on this mission. And for me, this tone of the film is set straight away from when they first get on that helicopter ride to go to the water. Now that for me, some of the dialogue and some of the lines are just so unbelievable, especially absolutely in what you call it, Jesse Ventura. He for me, he has the best lines in this entire film.
I ain't got time to bleed.
Absolutely, and especially the line he says on the helicopter about being, the sexual tyrannosaurus.
I forgot that line.
Sexual tyrannosaurus.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I like when he spits on Dylan's shoes, and Dylan's like, "It's kind of a nasty habit you got there."
Yeah.
I really love, like you were saying, Kevin, it's setting the tone, it's kind of like a bunch of guys, lots of testosterone, lots of like, they're going in, they're going to fuck shit up. But then soon as they get there, they find not just like before the predator, but they find like shit is not going well overall. And it kind of, I don't want to say humbles them, but it almost like makes them realize like, yeah, we're a bunch of badasses, but shit's about to get real. And it starts to get real, like fast. Oh, that's a great shot.
So that is the cast. That's all of the crew together. You've got obviously badass Arnie there on his own. And obviously that photo didn't have the lead actress in, but there you go. That is the lead actress.
Flexing when he's touching her.
Yeah. Well, I think every shot prior to filming, they must have flexed for about 2 or 3 minutes before the film.
I don't know. I don't think Arnold has to flex. It just happens.
That's the best thing
the
ever.
Iconic shot. Yeah, push those pencils.
That is for me. Sometimes this. Did you know this? This is from
Does
a
it
GIF.
get you sweaty?
That is probably one of the most downloaded GIFs that you can get online because it's
really?
It's one of the most iconic and downloaded GIFs from the 1980s because obviously it's such iconic. That actually, some people remember that one particular scene when they first meet up and they do the hand thing more than anything else.
I watch people who react to Predator for the first time on YouTube, and whenever that scene comes up, they go, "Oh, that's where that came from."
Oh.
So that's, like you say, that set the tone, and obviously that clip I showed is when Dylan and Dutch and Dylan first, meeting to say, yeah, we'll go on this mission. And as you see, that's the team he has with him, and they're going to basically Vietnam, to basically this freaking war zone that's ripped to shreds. And when they land there, they actually do like a reconnaissance, and I think it's Billy that can tell straight away they're in for a shit time.
Yeah, he's a bad feeling.
He's like an Indian tracker, so he can sense what they're in store for, which is hell on earth, basically hell on earth. But unknown to us, like you say, you had this alien entity that's crash landed. And obviously that alien entity, which is crash landed, obviously because of these people that's gone missing, clearly that involves the alien, which we now know as the Predator. And obviously because they must have just thought they've been shot down via
enemy.
Like the enemy, the enemies. But clearly that's not what I generally think, and this was my theory, when you see that first shot in the film with the pod shoot out, I think the pod, when it flew down, it actually hit the helicopter, and so it made the helicopter spin out and crash in the jungle. And then obviously he's come out the pod, and then he's just went to town with the people that survived the crash.
I don't think that could be possible. I know I say that because, I mean, it could be, but one thing the girl mentions, like within the film, is that the summers get hot and their men start disappearing. And there's proof that the predators have been hunting on Earth for quite a long time. That becomes like a theme throughout the rest of the movies in the series.
That's a perfect way to describe the predators. They're hunters,
Yeah.
and they're skilled hunters, and you see this.
So I don't know if necessarily this happened. Like if this particular predator had only been there for a short time or not. He could have been there for years. You know what I mean? It just depends.
It's like how you describe the predators. Like it's like anything. Like I know, like in the States, in America, where you like have deer hunting season and stuff like that, don't you? And so obviously, you know, they just to keep the numbers down. So I do know it's later, like in later movies, it's basically acknowledged that the hunter, like the predators, use us as like a training background. It's the train, like the younger ones, because there's like a hierarchy within the place of the predators.
I forgot about that.
So
It's like a ritual.
So the basically to prove themselves, they send them to, I guess, different locations.
We're just target practice for the predators,
and it's for them to prove that they're ready, for, I guess, for bigger things. And I would imagine
their weapons for the next time, and
we
upgrade our shit, they upgrade theirs.
Yeah, and I would imagine that for every time they succeed in a hunt on a distant planet, they must upgrade to the next hierarchy of their race. And it wouldn't. And then precisely if there's more, that's more
practicing for the xenomorphs. That's a good. Yeah, that's a great theory, Kevin. Yeah.
The more skills they gain, or the more they succeed in the hunt and survive the hunt, the higher they get, and then they get probably placed on a more brutal planet with a bigger target, a bigger a bigger kill to fight. And I
wonder if they reward them too. Like, they do. Okay, because
a lot of times rewards can be many things. We saw in the first Predator versus Alien. They get these like marks. They'll take the acid from the xenomorph and mark it, like, I've killed this many or whatever. And then of course they take weapons like the old gun from the West that we saw in Prey.
Oh yeah.
So there's trophies they take along the way.
They took the old gun in Prey, and then we saw it in the other movie. Oh god, that's anyway. So, I love Predator. Sorry.
Yeah. So they're actually now in the jungle. Now that they're in the jungle, they then go. I'm sure they're they scout around and they find the body. I think it's Cooper, who they're looking for, who was the higher up person that they believe had been trapped or shot down. They find his body, but they're all strung up in the trees, and they've all had all of the flesh removed,
skinned off. Yeah,
they've all been skinned down. And then
they're calling them because they were.
I think his name was Hooper. I think that's what it was.
Hooper. Oh yeah, Hooper.
And they're calling them Green Berets, which are like
I think they were the first team to try to go out and find that diplomat. I think they were the first ones out there to try to do that.
So they find them, and then they realize, oh fuck, these people who've done this, because obviously they don't know about the alien threat yet. So I think
they're more worried about not an alien threat, but if these Green Berets are all fucked up
cannibals.
What's going on? That my guys who are top notch, soldiers are getting so fucked up. Sorry, I'm cussing too much on your channel.
It's not for kids. It's not for kids. You can fucking swear.
So on our channel, we do say anything at all. I didn't know if it was the F word's okay. I've had 2 glasses of wine. I'm sorry.
I've seen you drink a hell of a lot more than 2 glasses of wine. But after this, they're at the point where they think, well, these people are real sick bastards. If they can hang people up in trees and skin them, who the hell are we dealing with? And I think even Dutch looks at Dylan and thinks, I think he's got a feeling like there's something more to this than what he's led on. And even I think what give it away is when you see the bodies in the tree and you see Dylan's face, he's like fuck, and
this
obviously
isn't regular. This is not the usual thing we're used to.
And I think Dutch himself is more or less on the line. Like Dylan is that shocked and in awe of what he's seen, and when obviously Dutch sees Dylan's face, he's more along the lines of well, You've done your reconnaissance. You know these, people. You know what they're like. This is surprising you. Why haven't you told her about this? These people hanging up in trees, the skin, ripping the skins off and all that. And then they obviously come across the team, like the little compound, the little village that all these, people are in, the enemy, and they decide to attack it. And quite frankly, it's fucking easy peasy for them. Because they're like these are like these massive trained military people, and they go into the base. They set off bombs. They send that jeep down the hill to crash into the barn, the compound. They basically take them out, and it's an easy task. And I think even then, Dylan's also like not
believing
Dutch,
it. Yeah,
Dutch is like. So you're telling me these individuals took out this helicopter crew and took out all our men, were able to, skin them, hang them. These are the evil fuckers that we're dealing with, and we've took them out in 2 seconds. And I think even Billy, because he's like, you see, the tracker, he even knows that these aren't the individuals that could have done all this.
It was too easy to take them out, so they're 100% not believing that this. I think this is just my theory. I think that they thought at that time they were sent there to do that on purpose, like that to lay blame to this group of this little militia. So that's how I think as the soldiers were thinking, because they're like, wow, this is really easy to kill these people. They were trying to like, I don't know if this makes sense, because you hear it on the news all the time. Like people are like, oh yeah, we went here and this and attacked this and that. But when you see and hear from real soldiers and they're like, wow, it was just not what I expected. That's what that face looked like, what you were saying. They went there, it didn't happen the way that they expected it, and they saw some like carnage, and they had their helicopter down. They were not thinking, okay, this is our threat. They're thinking like this was really supposed to be our target. That's I mean, I don't know if that's true or false, but that's kind of how I saw it. Like, wow, we were supposed to take these people out on purpose.
Yeah.
Is that like too
no, that makes it
scary?
The thing I love about this scene or this segment of attack and whatnot is that you get to see some of the other characters in the film that have smaller parts, but you see them later on. So obviously Sven Olsen Thorson, who's been a staple of Schwarzenegger films. Lambert and I talked about Conan the Barbarian. He was in that film. Henry Kingi, who does a lot of stunts. He plays a guerrilla soldier, but in Predator 2, he plays El Scorpio at the beginning.
He's right. He was
so he was in both films of doing different roles. So I always thought that was funny. I was like, I know that guy. How'd you survive? You should be dead. But it's always fun seeing little things like that.
Yeah. So at this point, I'm sure, is this not when they find the girl? They find the girl alive.
Yep.
And obviously they know, they think she's like a prisoner of some sort, and she's trying to escape, and then they realise she probably knows more than what she's letting on.
Yep.
And she's absolutely a mixture of terrified and, she seems a bit decisive.
Well, the tension's up, too, because
she doesn't know if she can trust them. They can't
as
trust
they're
her.
going through, they're trying to, Dutch and them are really kind of worried about the prisoners who they were executing. And Dylan, he's busy looking at papers. He's like, we got what we were looking for. And then Dutch is pissed off. He's like, dude, you set us up, motherfucker. This ain't cool. And so basically Dylan's just kind of telling him like, look, man, you're just an asset. I'm just here to make sure the job gets done. And so it kind of brings some tension. So when Dylan says he wants to keep the girl, Dutch is like, she's your baggage, and
she's your baggage.
And another great thing I loved, like we've mentioned before, the great script and conversations in the one-liners. With the cast, and obviously Anna is the name of the character, and she's one of the green berets, and obviously they realise that there's nothing much more they can do there other than go to the extraction point. And so that's the next step, is writing, we've got this prisoner, we'll bring her back, see what she knows. And they know that there's other green berets on the way as well. But as all this is going on and you're getting the amazing one-liners, there's an amazing scene with Dylan and the character where he has the scorpion on his back. And he he turns around and he doesn't know what's going on, and then he has the scorpion on the end of his knife.
Yeah, Mac.
Mac has that's the character, Mac. He has the scorpion on his frings it.
Yeah.
And this is when you get some more great scenery with like the Predator. Because
he's just watching.
He's watching from afar. He's doing all these
Predator
surveillance. He's doing this stuff. So the scorpion's been dropped on the floor, and he kind of picks it up and has a good glance. And he's basically doing research and surveillance, and it's just great cinematography for its time. And
yes.
And he can record as well, which is very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, like, I love the like first person Predator view, like just what we saw, because you feel like when they do the Predator's like perspective, you're like, they like kind of give it the zoom look, and you can feel like he's really being a hunter. And that with the you know, what do you call that? Not ultraviolet, the infrared. Yeah, he's like, I got the infrared going here, and every time they do that with the Predator, I'm like, this is what kind of like, I know this is 1987, so it's now a classic, it's vintage or whatever we want to call it, but it was ahead of its time, because a lot of movies were not really thinking that forward. They were not like putting things in like first person perspective. They were not like getting the idea like, okay, this, you know, this hunter has the infrared vision, this, you know, that's something that I really think sets this movie apart from a lot of other action movies itself, is they really took the Predator's first person perspective and inserted it into what else was going on. And you kind of really felt like, yes, this man or alien is a hunter.
Yeah, and it's you know, just for its time, the tone it's the music as well. The music score during the film as well really sets the tone. It's the amazing script, the amazing cast, the tone it's set, and obviously it's just, and then obviously the effects, and obviously soon as they've been to they decide, no, Anna, we're going to take you to the extraction point, and there's this entity that they don't know is an alien at the time watching them. They get to a point where Billy's very spooked, and he just feels that there's something there. And even like Dutch is like, what the hell's going on with you? And you know, he just knows that there's something not quite right, and this creates an opportunity for Anna to break away. And this is where we see the full, you know, the first proper glimpse of what the Predator's capable of, because then, you know, a member of the team chases after her. I think it's Hawkins, and Hawkins chases her. Yeah, Hawkins chases after her, and as he's grabbed her, you just see like you see from the corner of her eyes, and you just see like the camouflage look of this thing coming towards him, and then you just see a scatter of blood, the body getting dragged away. She's now absolutely, you know, frozen on the spot with fear. And the time they catch up to her and they look around and they just know something bad's gone on. And the member of the team who can speak her language, he keeps asking her over and over, what the hell happened? Who did this? Where's your team? Where's the Green Beret? And she just keeps on saying the jungle came alive and took him. So amazing, just amazing scenes, and just amazing the way the plot progresses from this point on. Tony,
and the fear that they felt, like, you could see it was like very well acted, because when we're watching it, it feels like the jungle came alive. It's you see some kind of like blurry lines, and then and
Yeah.
as a person, if that happened to you in real life, what would you think? Like some dude just like spontaneously combusted, you would not know what to think. And I think that fear like was really captured in that scene very well. All right, sorry, Tony. I
So
stepped on you.
I was just going to say, Tony, what's your thoughts so far into the film? Were you captivated straight away when you seen this?
Oh God, I mean, I don't remember what it was like the first time I saw this movie, but this is a movie that I could put in any time. Like right now, I could put it in and watch it. But like, I'm still learning new things about it. Like recently, I learned it was originally supposed to be called Hunters, and they were hunting aliens, and Billy was supposed to be the main character, and then they
Well,
changed it
that's
to what it
interesting.
is. Yeah. Also, apparently they had to hire somebody on the set, a bodyguard for Billy, not
What?
for people against Billy, but for him against people, because I guess he had a reputation or some shit.
Yeah, yes, he
So,
did.
which I found, I was like, what, really? Like, but like, yeah, that part where with Hawkins, 'cause I like Hawkins, I like his jokes and stuff. I still say those jokes, like, as inappropriate as they are.
Well,
They're still
Shane Black, man, he went on to have a great career in
Oh
writing. I
yeah,
mean, he wrote Lethal Weapon 2, Last Boy Scout, Last Action Hero, The Long Kiss Goodnight. I mean, he had so many movies.
He wrote
yeah,
those?
Yeah.
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 Wow.
He's got a lot of
I,
stuff under his belt.
I think he's the
And
first guy to bite it, but he became the biggest writer out of all of them.
Yeah,
yeah, and
Good for
didn't
him.
didn't he have an involvement with a future Predator film? Was it? Did he?
Yeah.
Was it Prey?
Let me look. I
No, no.
think
Was it not Predators?
it
I
might be.
think
I know he
it
had
might have.
part of Iron Man 3, which I didn't really care for, but The Predator from
Yeah.
oh
2000,
yeah, yeah. He wrote it.
which I didn't really care for that one either. But
I like some of it.
I like how we tried to make it more like the original, like have like where the ship had crashed into the jungle and like the woodland, and he took a risk when I think you see is it. Oh, I'm thinking of something else. I'm thinking of Alien versus Predator Requiem where the ship crashed.
yep.
And I thought I was going to see, he took a risk when you seen the face cooker go onto the kid.
That is a bit of a risk on a kid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because you don't actually see what happened, I don't think, after the kid
Yeah,
had
you
the
don't see
face
no
hooker.
chest bursting, but
No, but
you know.
that for me, I'm thinking that
It's
was a
gonna
fucking,
happen.
you know.
He also, it says he wrote the Monster Squad.
Oh, cool.
I
Yeah,
love the Monster
The Monster
Squad.
Squad's brilliant.
it's crazy.
I know when Alien versus Predator, DJ Anubis used to be the manager of a bookstore many years ago, even before he and I met, and he would read there were Alien versus Predator books,
Comic
and he
books.
was like, no books, like actual like
Oh, like
little
the
novellas.
novels.
Yeah, like maybe 150 pages, but they were little novellas that he was reading, and he was super excited. He's like, this has been something that they have been talking about for years and years and years and years. And he was like, we didn't hate Alien versus Predator, but he was just like, the books, and this is so cliche to say, he's like, the books are just so much more interesting than what they put on screen.
Yeah, because when it comes to like a book, you can make them as gory or as graphic as you want because it's pen to paper. You've got to imagine the scenes in your head. Where to try and visualize from a book from page to screen, it's not just trying to put it out there, it's also the studio gonna take the risk. Like
Yeah.
the last time I think me and DJ Anubis talked about making a book into like a film was when Fat Samurai guy Preston was on the channel, and he brought it up. Preston brought up about, we were talking about First Blood, and he said they will never ever turn the actual First Blood book into a film. you know,
because it's too much.
it's
too
too
dark.
graphic, it's too dark, and obviously they even kill a kid, I think, in First Blood the book. And obviously it's during that scene where, you know, Rambo comes across the father and the son hunting in the woods,
Yeah.
and I think he goes wild on them. And you know, you don't see what really happened because they didn't showcase it in the film. And I know First Blood had a film prior to it with a different name, I think. So there was more than one attempt to turn the book into a film, and the first time failed. And so Rambo and Sylvester Stallone, obviously that's the one that worked and it made him a legend. But
Yeah, so apparently
even though
Sonny Landham was so intense that the insurance company, the film's insurance company, worried for the safety of the rest of the cast, because just so he wouldn't get in a fight with people.
That's
So
crazy.
he's like gonna like start bar fights in the middle of the.
I don't know, like he's really intense. Who knows? Like I don't know,
but his character Billy is the total opposite of who he is.
right,
Yeah.
very zen-like and
Yeah.
honorable.
That's crazy. I love these little like tidbits that we find out as we're like looking up.
Yeah, we talked about Bill Duke. You and I, we did a review for Deep Cover, a movie he directed years later. So, like, it's one of my favorite films. So, there's a lot of good talent here. Ventura, of course, went on to do politics along with Schwarzenegger.
Was he governor of Minnesota?
I think
Yeah,
so.
Minnesota. And I think he's just kind of like not doing, like, he's a recluse now. And that's crazy. It's crazy to see like a professional wrestler turned actor turned governor turned.
I think he still does these odd bits, and he does like all the wrestling convention, but he doesn't act anymore. I think he's living like a quiet life. He's done what he wanted. He had his career as a wrestler, actor, politician, and I don't know. He's probably in, like, if Arnold Schwarzenegger's in his 70s, then clearly Jesse Ventura will be. So he's probably, like you say, living a quiet life and, you know, living off the money that he's well deserved earned.
All his residuals, yeah.
Yeah,
that is.
but
And you think about this cast, like we've said it already, but like this cast is like 80s
Amazing.
gold.
Yeah.
It's 100% 80s gold,
and the majority of them went on. The majority of them went on to have other careers, either other successful 80 big movies like Carl Weathers. Obviously, we know we went into Rocky, which, and then obviously Shane Black we've talked about. He's, you know, an amazing writer who's done some amazing other classics. But the next part of the film, I was fucking pissed. I was
pissed, drunk or angry.
Pissed angry because I absolutely loved the character of Blaine from the first time I seen him, and he started, you know, with these, you know, his one-liners and the fact he's got the tobacco. I just thought he was the coolest dude in the 80s. I loved him. So the next scene is obviously after this tragic death, they decide to set up a trap. They decide, you know, like, Dutch goes, right, we need to find this fucker who's killed, because we can't carry on going to the, you know, the extraction point with somebody hunting me down. So they decide to set up some sort of trap. And, you know, they set this trap up, but during this time, Blaine being himself, you know, with his one-liner self, he's cracking on, and as they're waiting, and I think this happens before they set the trap, Blaine's out doing surveillance, and then all of a sudden he looks up at the trees and he sees this. It's the first time. This is
so
well, actually, what happens is Anna attempts to get away, and so then there's like this scramble to chase her down, and it's Hawkins, I believe, is first.
Yeah,
Hawkins.
He's the first one to get taken away because he catches her, he's trying to calm her down. Then the next thing he turns around, he's gone. Then, of course, now everyone's like, we got to find his body. So everyone starts going down. Blaine is there with his big Gatling gun. That thing is sweet as shit.
That is pretty sweet.
And he turns around, gets one right in the chest. That fucking whatever the fuck it is, like a laser bird.
It's like his cannon.
Yeah.
What did they call it? Is it like the laser cannon or whatever, the Predator?
Yeah.
So this is the first thing you see. you see this shot. Yeah, and it's the first kind of glimmer of seeing the predator face to face. I know he's got his camouflage on, but that's the first thing you see. And then you see the laser shot. Boom. That's a different one. But
That's
boom.
later.
Look at that
And then
face.
and look at that poor bastard. I was pissed. I was absolutely pissed to hell when this happened. And when he drops to the ground, I think it's his best friend, and this is this is what I believe was the best connection and the best friendship in the whole film.
Yeah.
It was him, and he remind us of the character's name again.
Mac.
Mac, him and Mac, yeah. Mac, had been comrades for years in the war, and when he sees him drop, he actually looks and he actually sees the predator kind of walking away. And when he walks away, he goes absolutely berserk, and this was just fucking awesome.
Could you imagine how loud that was?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my god.
I just love the fact that they mowed down so many trees for nothing.
Because they didn't know what it was. That's
If
what it
they
is.
aimed-
It's not like
aimed up,
is he
maybe.
part of the tree? Is he the tree? Is he what is he?
Right.
Well, all they know is Mac sees something and is firing, so they're just gonna do it too.
Yeah.
And
If they would have aimed up, maybe they would have hit him.
Oh, they figured it out later on. That's how it was getting around.
But this just proves again, like we keep seeing these stills that Kevin has pulled for us. Predator is an amazing film. Like the acting, the face that you had before with Jesse,
Yeah.
they're not taking this as like it's a B-rated movie. It's not like we're pretending that this is just bullshit. That's what makes this movie special, is because even though if you're not into science fiction, you can appreciate this because there's so much action and so much like emotion put into a movie. I know my grandfather, who is long gone, he's long passed years and years ago, but he liked Predator, Pop Bill, and he loved war movies. So I think he went into this movie thinking it was a war movie.
Kind of is,
and it is. But then he's
even if you look at the even if you look at the poster, for me that looks like a war movie, and I think even if they had advertised this as a sci-fi movie, and see you was somebody that didn't
like Commando too. So I mean,
yeah.
My Pop Bill was the perfect example of what an old man Marine would be. Like I have no words for him. It's so funny because he was so like disgruntled 90% of the time, but somehow I was his favorite and he loved me. And then, but because I married him, I'm the favorite. I was the first grandchild. I was the favorite and loved him. And my husband and my grandfather are so polar opposites, but he didn't care because he trusted my judgment because I love my husband. He loved him too so much. Like
are we going down an emotional
no. We're not going to get sad, but like just seeing my grandfather like loving Predator and things like that was kind of like a small connection, and the Good, the Bad, the Ugly, and all those that those two would kind of like talk
classic
about. Yes.
Oh, God,
all the classics. My grandfather loved the spaghetti westerns.
What were you watching last night for? A few more dollars?
Yeah, a few dollars more. Yeah. So like, it was just really interesting to see how much my grandfather loved Predator. And I'm sure I watched this movie. I mean, it came out in 1987. I would be 7 years old. So like, I'm sure I saw it when I was way too young because my grandfather and my grandmother my grandmother was the horror side and my grandfather was the action.
Well, that's the funny thing about this film is that it balances between action and horror. Like there's actually horror elements in the film.
I'm gonna have to ask my mom if my grandma ever like said she liked Predator, because my grandma she was the the
I don't know
heart.
anybody that doesn't. I've never met anyone that does not like this
I
movie.
don't. I've never. Everyone I know. But going back to what you were saying about your grandfather, like say he went into this looking at this as a war movie, I would not be surprised if a lot of people have done that, because see back in the day in the 80s, they're not like the day where it's prolific, where you have trailer after trailer, you have all the screenshots from a film on the internet. Back in the day, back in the 80s, it was about maybe one trailer or one television spot on the telly, and then it would maybe be a review in a paper with a couple of images. And see if your grandfather was sitting in the house in his
He's like,
house,
oh,
and
look at Arnold Schwarzenegger
yeah,
with a gun.
and he's opened the paper, and the review or the image of promoting Predator back in the day was just a picture of the poster I've showed you, and there's no actually any hints or anything of there being an extraterrestrial in the film. You would have might have got quite a lot of people that's got, like you mentioned, a marine or naval background, an army background, that went into this just thinking it's an all-out war movie. But I guarantee you, even after they discovered it's an extraterrestrial in a sci-fi epic,
Yeah, my grandpa was
I
like, fucking kill that
guarantee you
alien.
they would have fucking loved it, because it's like I see, it's the tone, it's the music. It's kind of got like a military feel to it, and it's got like a wartime feel to it.
I don't want to fast forward too far in our like discussion, but think about like what Arnold Schwarzenegger used. He used his basic knowledge of being a soldier to go forward and destroy the predator. Like he realized, he was like, okay, I know the predator has the infrared technology, I know this, I know that. I'm sure that like really resonated with my grandfather, going,
Yeah, and
that's
basically that's what.
smart.
And basically, if you think about it, that's what they did in Prey as well. Like they used her like in Prey. If you've seen it, they basically, she uses her knowledge of the land and the elements to basically help her defeat the predator in Prey. But going forward, I think where we're up to now, we're up to like, so Blaine's being killed. Bastards, my favourite character.
He's a
Like
bastard.
so even though they killed him, Dylan still can't believe, because obviously, apart from the people that's been killed, basically, or Anna, nobody has ever else has seen the extraterrestrial threat. So Dylan even is like, well, this still isn't whatever the fuck she's talking about. These
He
are
thinks
like
he's crazy still.
these are. Yeah, well, he believes gorillas have done it, not gorillas animals, but like the
Yeah.
swamp.
Guerrilla
Yeah,
warfare. Yeah.
yeah, he believes, it's still down to them that all this shit's going on. So this is the bit I got to, but I went a bit too far ahead. Dutch then decided to set
One
up
quick thing, because you brought up the thing about your grandfather.
Oh no.
So apparently the cast went through some training to do this film, and a guy named Gary Goldman was brought in to, as McTiernan told him, he says, these guys look like ballerinas, toughen them up. So what they did was they walked 20-mile treks through the Mexican jungle and took them on road runs in the mountains, and they set up drills and simulations for days. So they all had to go through this.
They had to go through like the
training.
military training.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Nice.
Well, but they do that, don't they? A lot of any great director, producer who wants to make a product or a movie as authentic as they possibly can, they will put the talent, the actors, through what life would have been like, so they get a bigger, picture of the role that they're actually walking into.
And it feels more natural. Like they look more natural. They are acting naturally. They're not just doing like the crazy overacting of the 50s. They're really immersing themselves into what's going on in the crazy, the jungle, and then we don't know what's going on, and it kind of gives them more of a perspective of maybe what a soldier would kind of feel like. What soldier in their right mind is going to think that it's an extraterrestrial who is hunting them, who has cloaking devices? No, they're going to think, okay, this is some kind of enemy, and that's how all of these actors were acting.
Definitely.
They're very believable. Like you could separate the actor from the character. Like you see, that's Arnold Schwarzenegger, but that's Dutch.
Mhm.
Yes.
Billy is Billy.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
But like we've just said, Billy had, the producers made sure that he was kept away from the cast, because apparently, like you've mentioned, he might have been a dickhead in real life, but as the character of Billy, he's totally not who he is in real life. And
Yeah.
this is what I mean. Like, a lot of actors do research and maybe put themselves through training to become the character, other than just walking onto the set, reading a script. And that's why I think a lot of films fail. Because when you look at a character actor, and if he hasn't done his research and he just thinks, right, I know this individual because I've read the script, and then they don't put the hard work in, like actually researching like a book about, say, life in the 1970s in Vietnam or whatever, or talking to a war veteran, which a lot of actors I've known have done. They've actually went to places and talked to people that were involved in events at that time that they're doing a role in, and then boom, they go onto the set and they put on an amazing performance, because it's like, even though they haven't, they've had a peek into that world or into that time frame because they've had the research and they've done it, instead of reading a script and going, boom, I know the character, this is what I believe would have happened or whatever, and then it's a complete fucking disaster. So it's nice, especially with this film being based around the Vietnam War, that they actually put that time and effort in to make it believable.
And the little details and the little extra kind of take this from just some kind of war slash, sci-fi film into more of like, these are men who work together, they love each other, they're brothers. You see that in the way that they interact with each other. One actor though, that and it's DJ Anubis's boyfriend, Christian Bale, is very well known to do that, where he's very much like, he immerses himself into things. And I think that's
Mm-hmm.
why we have enjoyed a lot of Christian Bale films, especially, don't even think of like the Batman stuff. Think about like The Machinist, which
Yeah.
was
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. When he lost all that weight.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, here you go. So
Oh,
just I'm backtracking a little bit,
oh
but
no.
so Jean-Claude Van Damme was the first person in the suit. The idea was that JVD would use his martial arts skills to play a predator as a ninja alien that would do kung fu kicks and perform the splits. Obviously,
Hmm.
apparently, there's different rumors of why he's not there. One of
Oh,
them
this is
was he
interesting.
complained
Okay.
too much, which is something I've heard about Van Damme before.
I believe that.
Arnold called JVD a relentless complainer, and eventually Van Damme was fired. But there's a lot of other things that people believe led to why he's no longer there.
I
I'm
think
I
sure
if
really
drugs
that
was
thought
was,
another reason.
too.
for
Really?
me,
What?
I'm sure drugs was another thing because
mm,
I don't know when he started that, but like I know he was kind of a cokehead.
It
and
is
I'm
the
not being
80s.
funny, if you
Yeah.
think of the description that you've mentioned of how they wanted the Predator to be, that would not have fitted into this movie. It's a
No,
movie
no.
about the military in Vietnam. It's very gritty, it's very dark, it's very elemental of its time in the jungle. What the fuck would a
It's like
samurai fucking
espionage.
alien be in? It just would look odd and it wouldn't look fitted into that. I would have thought it's jumped from one world into another and from another film. And I think the film would have flopped if that
Like
had happened.
the
It would, especially if it looked the way it did and he acted that way. And I just believe it would have looked goofy,
it
and
looked
it
like
would
the
have,
Sci-Fi Channel's version of the Predator.
yeah,
A Predator.
Exactly.
definitely.
Because we
Hmm.
look at the Predator as this super high tech, very secretive, very I don't know what the right I keep saying espionage, but that's like what the Predator was. He wasn't this full on attack. He was waiting and waiting and waiting. And then that's how he, you know, came out and attacked like a hunter who was waiting for their prey. Hence, Prey many, 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 many years ago or after the film. But like,
Hmm.
I feel like, as you all were saying, if you took Jean Claude Van Damme with his like he has amazing martial arts skills. We're not saying he doesn't, if you took that, it would kind of be like a caricature of what Predator could be.
I just
Now
don't
we
think it would be the film that we have. I think it would
exactly.
have, and
It
I
would have
think
been
people
kind of
wouldn't be,
funny, right? It would have been like
and
something where we're like, this is a B movie.
yeah, and people wouldn't be talking about it today. And the people we're sitting here in 2024 talking about the film that came out in 1987 because it still holds up and it's still, it's still captivating an audience, and it's
The more that
because
we
of
talk
many.
about this, gosh, it just makes me love the movie more. Everything we talk about, or the little tidbits that we're finding out or we're sharing with each other, I'm like, man, this movie for the
Yeah,
longest time when I first saw it, it's just like a bunch of catchphrases, it's a bunch of this, it's a bunch of that. It's an 80s action film, but you hear about, some of the people who are involved have turned into amazing writers. And then you hear about like what DJ Anubis was talking about, the training they went through. And you're like, they really took this to another level because they wanted to make this, like every one of us, especially you, Kevin, were saying, they wanted to make this as believable as possible because yes, it is a sci-fi film. It is an extraterrestrial in the jungle, but they want to make people realize like this is how you would act at with an
definitely.
extraterrestrial in the jungle. All right,
Yeah,
where
definitely.
were we in the plot? Where are we in the timeline? Because
So
we I
my
keep changing it.
favorite character, the bastards, as I keep recalling them, has killed him off. And now this is where basically they set up a trap because they think like it's still these guerrillas in the warfare, and they set up a camp. It's night time, and they go to hopefully trap something. But then this is where there's a bit of a distraction, and they end up capturing like a wild boar, and obviously it gets like stabbed to death. Because and there's also that scene with the net, and the net flies up, and there's nothing in the net.
No, that's not yet.
Oh, is that not net? Right.
No.
Tony, do you want to carry
Because
on? Because
well,
I've probably got ahead of myself.
they make a trap set up because I think he's gonna come through there, and then the boar comes through, and while they're distracted with that, that's when the predator comes and grabs the body, and they're like, "How did he
That's
see our
right. That's right.
traps?"
That's right. That's right.
Trophy.
Yeah, how did he see our traps? And how did he get through without alerting anything?
And there's like that pause where Dutch is looking up. He's like, he's using the trees.
Yeah, and that's when Dutch realizes that he's starting, I think, to come round to what Billy's saying and what Anna's saying, that there's something else going on, other than it just being like another military team out there. And I think this is when so the ball's being killed. Then Dutch realizes obviously that it's not the Green Berets anymore. And he frees Anna, and he states that her people have a similar mutilated bodies to what she's seen. He's starting to come round that she's like a victim and all this, I guess. And the
And
group
I think Anna was thinking that it was, we're thinking it's the gorillas. The gorillas are thinking it's us, and then we're like, Anna is kind of like, okay, it's neither one. There's
I'm
something
just gonna
else.
move this cat out my way because the cat's getting on my nerves again.
No.
The devil. It's the devil.
It's the devil.
So some interesting tidbits about some of the technical aspects of the film. Apparently, the green blood that was used
yes.
is actually liquid from inside a glow stick.
Shut up.
No. And then the
I bet you that does show up really
sounds
nice.
that you always
No,
like. Yeah, that's actually a sound that's recorded from crabs that make their clacking sound.
He kind of looks like a little bit of a crab.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
What's up, pussy face?
Pussy face.
I am I'm not deaf, but I need to watch TV with the subtitles on, because I think just from working on ships for 5.5 years and lots of metal shows without any kind of ear protection, if there's too much noise, I just can't process it. So I always watch things on TV, and when the predator is on TV, it just says predator noises.
Yeah.
That's
I'm sorry, I
awesome.
thought that was hysterical, but
I watch with
keep
captions too because most times, sometimes you can't understand when somebody says they whisper in a movie or like, sometimes they're just talking a lot and it's like, oh, that's what they said. Okay.
So like
Mm.
then you got
Better.
some actors that have very strong accents and stuff,
Right.
so it's sometimes very
Yeah.
difficult.
No,
to
for
understand
me,
what they're
it could be
saying.
any. It could be myself
cat.
on
Like, I
television.
haven't
I
understood.
need-
I was gonna say I haven't understood a thing Kevin said this whole time. No, I'm just kidding.
He has a very Newcastle accent. He's my Geordie boy. Hold on, put your headphones back on. He's my
Yeah.
Geordie boy.
I've decided after I do this, I am going to put up a blooper reel of every time I fucking get up for the cats and see if I get 1,000 views.
I think you will. Be like cat.
But
Tend to the
anyway,
pussy, and then you'll get your views.
so we're at the point where I had skipped, sorry. And now that has happened, this is when they set up the net, I believe. And
They're
I
trying to
think,
catch.
yeah, they set up this net because they now understand that it's not gorillas, it's not Green Beret, it's something totally out there that they have no understanding of. They just know it's something that
It's not good.
it's not good. And obviously Billy's kind of throughout it has been warning them, because there's one, I don't know if it was earlier in the film, where he says, I'm afraid, and I think it's Poncho goes, well, you're not afraid of no man, and he goes round
There's something out there.
he
It ain't
goes, there's
no
something,
man.
No, no man.
and I love that. I love that quote. See, once again, it's a great quote that you could quote off with anything. They could even
This
put
movie is
the,
full of amazing quotes.
yes, 80 classic quote. But this is when they set up the net, and the predator, the alien of it at its time, gets into the net, and it struggles a bit, and then it goes quiet. And the next thing you know, it just shoots up in the air, and there's literally just leaves and shit flying around, and you don't actually see anything. It's just camouflage. And it gets away. It gets away, and that's when Mac and Dylan decide to go into pursuit by themselves, which is the fucking worst idea possible. And my second favourite character of the film, Mac, is suddenly, he gets ahead and you don't know where he's gone. It's like he's disappeared, and Dylan's in pursuit. But also Dylan also tells, obviously, Dutch to just get out. He goes, that's my mess, I'll sort it out. Because we kind of skipped over a part as well where when Dutch finds out that this has been a ploy all along by Dylan, to have them go in there to take down the militia or the green, there was no rescue mission. There was no
They
rescue.
wanted the information, and they wanted to kill them all, and then steal all their
And-
paperwork and get the
Yeah.
fuck out of there.
Yeah, and Dylan kind of, Dutch was forming it, Dylan, but Dylan realizes that you've got to play, you've got to play dirty to win this war, kind of thing. So Dutch is still like on his mind, and he's on his mind of how to, deal with the situation. But obviously, because of that, it does create an even bigger divide between Dutch's men and Dylan. Now, this is Dylan basically trying to make up, because now he's seen the situation with this outer world threat. He's like, I led you into this, I fucked up, I tricked you guys, I'm gonna let you distract this thing so you can get out. This is my way of saying I'm sorry, and I'm making it up to you. But Mac, obviously, because of Blaine's death, he's fucking on the warpath. He just wants to hunt this thing and kill it. He's disappeared into the middle of the jungle. Dylan goes into pursuit, and then suddenly, bang, you think you can hear noises. And this is the only time when I first seen this film I actually truly jumped, is when Mac obviously grabs Dylan underneath the log area and pulls him in, and he goes,
Up there, there's trees.
and
And the
that's
thing
just
is, they don't know that he can actually see them. Like the Predator's just like waiting to see what they're doing, but
Yeah,
they
the
don't know that
predator's
he can
like,
see
you
their
guys are
heat.
dumb.
Yeah, like I see you too. If he would,
They think that basically they think they see the Predator's playing dumb. He's like, I'm just gonna pretend that you don't know I can see you and I can fucking hear you. They forgot he's got this infrared equipment, so even if they were in hiding, all it would take is for an arm to be shown and it would show up in his vision.
yeah,
So basically they're fucked either way. And I think I've got the right clip,
Uh-oh.
but
Let's see it.
this actually really shocked me. Like I thought, seeing because you see Blaine get shot and you see his chest like that, but you didn't apart from him hitting the ground, you didn't see much else. There was a bit of blood spatter, but then you see Mac, and he thinks he's got him in his sights, and he's looking up, and he's like, "I got you, motherfucker," or whatever he says. And then next thing you know, fucking boom, you just see the lasers on the forehead, and then boom, you get shot in the head.
So much
And
suspense in this movie.
Yeah, he thought he was sneaking up on his ass, and he was the one being hunted.
yep.
And I actually was like, I went from like that in a matter of seconds because
You're
me
just
too.
like, ah.
And I think even while I love Arnie and I love Dutch and he's the hero of the film and I love Billy, there's not one character I don't think I disliked in this film. I would say my least favourite is probably Dylan and then Anna. But the rest of them I felt
He's
like
kind of annoying.
I had a
He's
connection
a
with.
bear.
I loved Dutch because Dutch is Dutch, but I loved the bromance between Blaine and obviously in Mac. Just out and to see them both, get wiped out. But this is where shit even gets worse. Now,
Uh-oh.
the one thing
Shit's
I
getting
hate,
deep.
the thing I hate about Disney Plus is that they have Predator on there, but it doesn't show you the uncut version. It only it cuts. So
That is illegal.
you don't see the full epic showdown between Dylan and the Predator. And we all know what happens to poor Dylan. And this, for me, I could just imagine, for example, your grandfather in the theatre. He's probably sitting there at one point. He's saying, "It's all right. It's all right. It's got the military. I get the military feels. I get the
He's
jungle
like a bear.
feels."
This is Korea.
It actually does feel like a war film, but you probably be like, guess what? It doesn't have the real grittiness of war. It doesn't show you the proper blood. It doesn't show you people get their arms blown off. I know what it's like. Then boom, fucking Dylan, he's standing there, and then off you go, sucker.
Oh my god.
It's a great shot.
He loses his arm, or loses his arms, and he's like that, yelling out in pain with one arm missing. And the Disney Plus version doesn't show that. It just
edited.
It shows you that the laser blank. It shows you like one arm hit the floor, then it cuts to just them screaming.
Really?
Yep. So kids, if you want to see the real full shot,
Buy the fucking
not
Blu-ray.
Yeah.
buy Blu-ray, buy whatever. Just off. I don't know if there is another streaming service that has the uncut version, but Disney Plus do not show you that.
I didn't know that Disney owned the Predator, like,
because
world.
they own 20th Century Fox. So any 20th Century Fox partner, franchise they own, Disney now own. Disney created Prey, basically under the 20th Century Fox, because basically Disney is Skynet. They are basically taking over the fucking entertainment world. They basically own the fucking Terminator, put it that way. They literally own the Terminator.
This is the day that Skynet goes live.
Yes.
When Disney Plus went live.
And it has mouse ears.
You'll have robot Mickey Mouses with red eyes walking around there Disney World before you know it. But,
well, how do they have Deadpool on there then? Is that stuff cut off there too?
Well, that's the funny thing, because Deadpool is rated R, and they are very proud that they're rated R. They're like, fuck Marvel, we're rated R, and
But the difference is rated R in the years of the 2000 era compared to rated R in the 80s is a completely different type of
That's
rated
true
R.
because Predator, I don't think was rated R.
I don't know, but no, Predator is. But the thing is like Deadpool is very gory,
Yeah.
It is
and it's got some very high sexual jokes.
like
so,
when his hand is this
Yeah.
big, and he's like,
yeah,
"I
yeah.
can't wait! I
I
can't,
can't
wait
wait
to
to
go."
see how big it is.
But
Oh,
but obviously that doesn't work out for them too. So the next thing that happens is they're trying to get to the evacuation point.
get to the chopper! Run!
So Billy, you know, being like, you know, the Indian warrior is, he thinks for whatever reason. I think he knew from day one he was going to die, but I thought he would just give them time to.
I think he actually stated that. I think he says
Yeah, he
we're all
did.
gonna die or something at some point.
But I think he stated, you know, I'm gonna sacrifice myself.
Well,
So you-
that's the Native American honorable thing that he does. That's why he ditches the gun and goes with the blade. It's like a hand
And
to
he
hand
takes all his
makes that
uniform.
mark, and he's like, "Yeah, I can bleed too, bitch."
Yep.
It's also a very Klingon thing to do.
True.
Very true.
Which I
Today
think
is a good day to die.
Which his death is, I think, all you hear is a yell, and then you just see his putting his. I think he got gypped. I think we should have seen a better death with that.
Yeah.
Not all deaths can be as good as Mr. Tony the Dead's death.
No, that's true.
True. Facts.
So
So,
this
Kevin,
is
if you don't know,
Night of the Axe.
on Night of the Axe, Mr. Tony the Dead got like an epic kill scene. So he was
Best kill scene in the movie.
You'll have to send us a link to that movie because I need to watch it.
That's on
I think
Tubi.
it's on Tubi.
I think
yeah.
it's on Tubi now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we could watch that as a cinematic synergy in the future, and we could have one
I
of
think
the
we could interview
stars.
Mr. Tony the Dead, and he could tell us
One
all
of the-
about dying.
Yes, one of the stars could be a
You
guest
could
on
do
there.
it Into Your Darkness series too.
That's right.
That's very true. Into the darkness.
We're with a real live
Actor.
actor. I'm doing it. I can't. How do I?
Why are you pointing?
I'm trying to
that
point
way.
Tony.
Yeah.
We're with a real live actor right here. It's
It's
reversed.
So,
It's making me stupid.
For any of the subscribers or anybody who loves their horror, check out Night of the Axe. Night of the Axe, because we've got a legendary actor here in my
Oh
midst.
my god. You're hyping me up.
The
Well-
hype is real.
I'm your hype man.
So where we're next? Who wants to continue? Because I've lost my train of
Well,
thought.
Well, Billy bites it on the log
Mhm.
like he's
Yeah.
like King Kong there or something. But at this point, after that, I think Dutch gets hit barely by the laser blast cannon.
Mm-hmm.
And then the girl, Anna, she tries to pick up a weapon, but he kicks it away because Dutch realizes that if you're not armed, it's not going to fuck with you. Like, it doesn't want to fight
Oh, that's
because you're not a worthy kill if you're not.
he.
have
He
a
only
weapon.
wants
Well, you're forgetting about the part 2 where they had the trap set up and the log flew down and hit
Poncho.
Poncho. So
Yes.
he's like got pretty much broken ribs and that, so they have to carry him.
That's before Billy gets killed, isn't it? So
Yeah, no.
that's
After they get across the log, it's when
They
Billy
hear Billy
decides he's gonna
screaming.
slow him up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the blast hits Poncho. And I think part of it hit Dutch too, but the blast kills Poncho after it hits him.
Which is another shitty kill,
Yeah.
you know?
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty quick and gone. And then we get the famous line, which apparently is Schwarzenegger's favorite line in any movie is "Get to the chopper!"
run. Get to the chopper.
I heard your
Yeah.
echo. It's
So-
like, it's like we're in the forest.
So he basically lets Anna survive, doesn't
I'll be
he?
right back. If I
And-
leave the studio, will you bring me back in after?
Don't leave the studio, just go.
Okay, I'll be back.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be back.
I'll
You can
be
just
back.
remove you if you want.
Get to the chopper, Neko. Get to the chopper.
I gotta take a piss.
I know.
Go find a
Get
log.
to the toilet.
Get
So-
to the toilet.
I'm getting to the
Get to the toilet. Ticket number 2.
So yeah, so he gets hit with the blaster. Poncho gets killed. She gets to the chopper and flies off, and that leaves him defend himself against the predator.
Yep.
So then he's like running like hell, trying to get away from the damn thing, and that's when he gets to the edge of the waterfall, and he just he jumps into the waterfall, and then he swims over to, I guess, this, the mud pit near the end of the waterfall, and he's basically covered in mud. And it's during this time that the predator follows him and jumps into the water. And as the predator comes out of the water, you do see like the camouflage, but then suddenly the camouflage starts to malfunction. And during this time, that's when the full reveal of the predator suit becomes revealed. And now, for me, the first reveal of the suit and the mask was just epic. Like, I just loved it. The only thing is, I would say about that scene is, if you think about it today, so it's an extraterrestrial from an advanced civilization, but they can't figure out how to, survive water. In the water. So as soon as he hit the water, why would you jump into the water knowing it's going to fuck with your technology? When that, basically he's taking his advance away, his advantage away.
Well, I think there's a sense of arrogance with predators in general. Like, they always have this superior complex about how great hunters they are. So, like, in some ways, he probably just didn't give a shit. He's like, okay, he can see what I am. Because at this point, he's already annihilated most of the platoon. So now he's like got one guy left. He's like, this guy ain't beating me.
He's just
And
chasing
this is,
him
of course,
down.
this is a key moment, though, with the mud and everything that we discover is able to camouflage a human.
So this is,
Which in real
obviously-
life can't do that, so that doesn't work in
Yeah.
real life.
Yeah, but this, for anybody that still, I'd be amazed if still no one's seen the Predator yet. This is how he looks when you first like see him with the mask on and his armory, and he's just fucking badass. He's just looks amazing.
He's badass.
I think he's terrifying, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that Predator is terrifying, especially that part. Like, Arnold's just like, I'm ready. Just do it. And he doesn't, then he realizes he can't see him. But like that whole part, like it looks like he's looking at him and you see the vision. You could see Arnold, but he can't tell.
Mm-hmm.
And oh God, just like, oh, I get ahead of myself. Like the whole chase they're on and everything too. And he's crawling and he's walking behind him. That's terrifying.
Yes. Like, I love that hunt.
Besides the nun, Predator scares
So,
the shit out of me.
Nun number 1, Predator number 2.
Yeah, probably.
That's what
fucking
makes this
nun.
movie
Of
so
course.
like
Of course, the Predator, I
impressive.
just
Like,
won't have to have a weapon. I'll be fine.
Pussy face scares Tony the Dead. Just keep that in mind.
no,
Pussy-
I mean,
pussy
I
is
think what
scary.
he's saying is they did such a great job with building up the suspense and like
No, I was
honestly,
gonna mention that, like, you don't see the alien until much later, like the actual alien. I think that's a great way to go about through the film. Like, you just don't reveal too much to camouflage.
you just kind of
plays a
see
big
like the
part in it.
outline, the eyes, the cannon.
Mm.
It's very much the whole like Jaws prescription where it's like all
Mhm.
you get is a fin for like the entire movie. Hey, there he is. There's my boy.
And even at that point, you think that maybe that's just him. Like, you don't even know. Like,
It's like,
whether or not
it's the
that's real.
dreadlocks, it's the whole aesthetic of how he looks. And it's like what Tony mentioned before, like, well, obviously I'll show an image later on once we get to the final. But it's when the face is finally revealed, going back to what Tony said,
Yeah.
you can actually see that there is like crustacean, like crab-like. It is crab-like. I can, and now that you mention, I can see it. Now that you've said it,
It kind of throws back to like their original idea of the like very slender, quick, bug like alien that they were trying to do with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Well, it kind of throws back. Yeah, it's kind of got that like funky
Well,
face, but they're hiding it.
The information I was like twofold. Like, one, because Van Damme is like 5'9", so he's kind of short. So that
Yeah, but
was
he'll
already
kick your ass.
that was already a problem for the director. He thought that the alien should be bigger, so they got this guy that was like 6 or 7 foot tall or something to play the
Yeah.
Yeah,
Predator.
the same guy who plays the Predator played Harry in Harry and the Hendersons.
Yeah, but
I love that
Kevin
movie.
they also
Peter,
got
Kevin Peter
Stan,
Hall.
they also got Stan Winston to redesign the alien Predator itself, and James Cameron actually mentioned the mandibles. He's the one that like said you should do this with
That's,
them.
Yeah.
again, very
So,
crab-like, very
yeah.
spider-like.
Yeah.
Like we have multiple
I generally,
tarantulas, and we watch
I-
them eat, and that's what they do.
I genuinely believe Stan Winston saved this film.
Oh God, yeah.
100%. Like going from that
This could have been
to
a
what one,
sci-fi,
Yeah.
channel Sharknado movie, or
yeah.
it could be a movie with heart and suspense, and
This is something like I would see on the Sci-Fi Channel.
It would not.
that kind
I
of looks
would.
like Jar Jar Binks. It looks like
Almost,
Jar Jar,
yeah.
Jar Jar Binks with like a little extra muscle. That's what
To-
that is.
I'm gonna be honest though. When I look at the latest film, Prey, the face looks like the mask out of Prey,
Little bit. Little bit.
Yeah, I can see that.
and it also reminds me of a graboid from Tremors.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's the next one we have to do, Kevin. Tremors
Mm.
is one of my favorite movies ever.
Well, when we get we could do that next, whatever. But I think this was the audience choice.
Yeah.
All right, well,
Leo-
then put up a poll, and 100%
No,
needs to
it
be
doesn't have to be an
Tremors.
audience every single time. But
No, but the next one could be Neko's choice. Well, it's meant to be my choice, but we could do Neko's choice, and
I'm
that
a
can be
special
my
guest.
choice. And we can make a Tremors the next one. We can make that the next one, no problem. But going back to where we were, so basically, the Predator is, we've now seen him in all his glory with still the mask on. It's now getting nighttime again, and Dutch, I think he's just thoroughly pissed off, and he's just going to fight till the death. And he goes back to his basic instincts, back to his training of being, working as a basic commando, a military, and he starts setting up all these traps. And you know what I loved the fact that he just knew it's either do or die. If I'm gonna die or not, I'm gonna make this fucker bleed. And I'm sure there is one he says, if it bleeds, we can
If
kill
it bleeds, we can kill it.
it. So I think he's at that point because he knows it can bleed. He's seen the green blood, so he knows it can bleed at this point. So he sets up this camp, but then he goes kind of back into his natural training. He puts the mud on his face, and this is probably my favorite image I'm going to show you because
Me
I
too.
love
I know
this
what you're going
image.
to show me.
It's when it's all set up. He's got the base camp ready. He's at the point where no return. He's worked his arse off to set these traps up, and he's going to have his final battle. And he's got his flaming torch. And he stands on the log, and he just gives out a massive yell to basically to summon the predator to his presence. Now I fucking love that.
I do too. It's so what's the best way to put it? Primitive, showing his dominance.
yeah.
Right? Like he's like, "Fuck you, motherfucker! Look at me!
He's
I'm
marking
covered
his
in
territory.
blood."
He's marking his territory.
It's so good.
I'm right here. Come and get me. Let's fuck shit up.
And this is where he has a bit of a battle. I think this is where the predator comes for him, and I think they get into a bit of a fist battle, don't they? They get into a bit of a battle.
Yeah, it's very hand to hand at this point.
And the predator gets the upper hand, so he decides, "Oh, I'm gonna fucking crawl away and go under where the tree stumps are, where he's got the third one, and he's got the."
Well, not
trap.
initially. That's when he's running away. He gets out of the water and he crawls in the mud and he gets under the tree, and that's when he realizes that the predator couldn't see him.
Mm-hmm.
It's after that he goes and he starts setting up all these traps and stuff, and he's gonna basically call out war on him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's those types of things, like I was saying, that's what my grandfather was like, yeah, this motherfucker knows.
Yeah, and this is what it's nighttime. Like I see, he set up these traps after he realizes with the mode, and then he screams with his torch in the air, and then the predator comes hunting for him. And I think when they go to fight, they get into a bit of a fisting, and then I don't know if the mask. My memory's right. The mask, he hits the mask or something, and he decides to
well, at
take the
first,
mask
like,
off.
he's there by the big old fire, and he's up in the tree waiting for the predator to come. The predator actually comes up next to him, and he can kind of see himself through the
right behind him.
And then as the predator is down there on the log looking for him, he has like these arrows that he makeshift into like Rambo style bomb arrows.
Oh God, I forgot about
And
that whole scene.
he starts fucking with the predator, hurting him a little bit here and there. So they kind of played this cat and mouse game for a while where they're chasing each other around. And that's when I think maybe Tony mentioned it.
And then the predator's just like, I can't. I think he figures out. He knows how I can see, so he's just
Right.
firing everywhere.
Right.
And eventually he kind of gets where he is.
Yeah, he ends up knocking Arnold back into some water, which washes off the mud, and that's when they start getting into the fist to fist type stuff.
Yeah, and he hits him, I think, and he damages the mask, and he ends up having to take it off. And this is the coolest scene where he's like turns the little like the things that keep the little knob things on the side of them, and the gas comes out the helmet, and he removes the helmet. And this is when you see the predator, and I would date the predator. He's one handsome motherfucker. Just imagine Kevin and Predator babies walking around. It will be the most beautiful thing you've ever seen in your life. But this is the boyo. This is what we all came to see. And this is what we got. Now,
and it's terrifying. Like, we didn't see this the entire movie, and this dude rips off his mask, and he looks like vagina faces, everyone has said. But, like, dude.
Yeah.
So
it's like down.
Makeup is amazing.
So
like the Predator and Dutch is like, because Predator knows like, this guy is my match. This is do or die. This guy. Nobody else could have been up against the Predator at this
He's
point.
finally found like a worthy opponent.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not just picking off some innocent people walking through the jungle. I got the guy.
No weapons, nothing.
Just a reminder, this is what we got, and look at how fucking iconic, creepy that is, and this is what we could have got.
And I'm glad that they switched it up. I really am.
I am too.
From this
to this.
Imagine their final fight, and then he's like doing splits and.
Can we have original? Can we have original Predator concept versus the real Predator, and it would be like Jean-Claude Van Damme versus. Well, I mean, I know Jean-Claude's a little bit older now, but like that style fighting versus like the Predator style fighting.
Definitely, and it's like I'm sure Asylum Film Studios that have probably done a piss take version of Predator, without a doubt. But this is where they get into the final battle, and after he gets the upper hand, the Predator. This is when the bit I was about to mention, Dutch goes under the two tree stumps, and the Predator, he thinks he's gonna come in front of him, but he actually comes behind him, I believe.
Yeah, because he had these spikes set, and the Predator did it. He like, oh, you want me to come through here and put through my head, huh? No, I'm gonna walk around you.
But all along, that's another setup.
Yeah,
it's another huge setup, and this is when Dutch manages to finally defeat the Predator, because he knocks the trap, and the giant log comes in, and it fucking crushes the Predator.
What do they call that? A kill zone or
kill switch or something? I guess.
So it's
maybe
like the final spot, because Dutch was gonna die. He was fucked. He's like, this is my last spot to go to. If this don't work, he's done. I think it's called something like that. Kill zone, kill switch.
But when you get to this point, though, you just think that's it. The Predator's gone. He's fucking fucked up. Dutch has got a bit of a sign of relief on his face, and then slowly, like movement. It's like, and it just show you, even though he's like half dead, the Predator's got some strength in him, because then
Oh yeah.
you get to see the Predator. And if you didn't think he was as fucking scary before, this is just as bad. Where he's basically
Bad and angry and green blood.
Right there, he's like, "Damn it." We hate when that happens.
When he goes,
I'm giving myself a facial.
now, isn't this where he goes, fuck you, but like in Predator like language?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know
He
the
does.
Predator
He
language.
says, "What the hell are you?"
Yeah, because
Tony, that was awesome.
he basically mimics. He's been studying the language and taken up. It's like it's like the very end thing, basically, which we're heading for. So basically, the Predator's fucked. He knows, right, the best man won, but I've got one trick up my sleeve. Because this, obviously, even though he's won and he probably does have respect for Arnold, he also realizes he can't just leave, die there and have humanity.
I can't let you win.
Can't have my technology.
Yeah, basically, it's not about him losing. I think he's fine with losing. The better man won. It's the fact that it's like he's got to hate the fact he's on the fucking planet and got to blow up any evidence that he's there.
Oh, that's a good theory too. He needs to not show that he existed.
Well, that's true. They don't want to be noticed.
Yep.
If they wanted to be noticed, they wouldn't arrive on the planet.
I mean, they kind of did the same thing at the end of Predators too. They just don't want people to know they were there.
Mm-hmm. So basically, he starts doing, he flips, and I thought this is another, absolutely, it's like another great scene where
it's just like the movie, right?
He flips his wrist and he has all the Predator language on like this keyboard. That's a part of his armory. And he types in a code, I guess, and it starts a countdown, which is a self-destruct countdown. And even though it's not in, English or anything, Dutch knows, oh shit, something's counting down, I need to fucking run for the hills, yeah. And as he's running away, Predator starts giving out this manic, ridiculous laugh.
Which was Billy's.
I was just about to say, he's doing Billy's laugh, but then right at the end it got more manic, more like the fucking Joker than anything else. And then you just see a few sparks here and there, little boom, bang, bush, and then the whole jungle just gets disintegrated. It's like an atomic bomb in wristwatch form. So
in wristwatch form, I like that.
So basically, atomic bomb, Oppenheimer style, in a wristwatch, and I think obviously Anna's been rescued, and they think the people who were originally rescued go, right, we better go back just in case, just a little glimmer of hope to see if Dutch is still alive. And this is when, as they're looking forward, they're like, Jesus Christ. And then you just see the mushroom cloud where any evidence that there has been any sort of Predator presence has been wiped out.
Mm-hmm.
And Dutch is rescued, and the next thing is they're flying off into the sunset.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure him and Anna went to make babies afterwards.
Probably.
Did you know that the guy flying a helicopter is the guy who played the Predator?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
like it's badass.
Another great information, but let you go. End credits. That was the Predator. Just a badass film from start to finish. The effects, the music. I love the music.
The music is great.
It sets great the tone as well. It's not just the performances, the one-liners, the 80 vibe, but it's the music of the time. And it cannot be beaten. Like, I just think, if you think of all the elements at work, if you had, like I say, if you had this piece of shit.
This piece of shit.
And if you had this piece of shit, this fucking Tremors, fucking wannabe, fucking them from 1954, fucking creature from the Black Lagoon shite, whatever you want to call it, in their place doing martial art kits, going higher and all that, it would be laughable.
Yeah.
And it would have made it very campy, but Predator was not campy. We see it as an 80s action movie, and we see it as an 80s sci-fi movie. But we
Tony's like,
Just-
ooh.
Well, the eyes, man. Like it's. You imagine I'm looking at you. Shit.
in the
they're
bedroom.
not kind.
In the bedroom.
You one ugly motherfucker.
Did you ever see that thing with where it's like To Catch a Predator? And it's like him sitting at the table with what's his name?
This
Oh,
is
yeah.
Also
some,
with the
so-
wristwatch thing, not the wristwatch, but they have gifs of it's like him touching it's going do 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 do.
Oh
And it
my
goes right
God.
with it. Yeah, it's so funny.
So the reason I brought this image up is because I think another, like I've mentioned, the film, I think during production they had a particular idea, a particular budget, and then once Stan Winston came on, I think it changed the depth of the movie. It became a more legitimate movie, and I believe the studio gave it more faith because they seen Stan Winston, and I think
Yeah,
they were
look at the
like,
effects. Like, look at. I mean,
Yeah.
I think he made this film gain a lot more stride, and I think a lot of people were like, right, Stan Winston's gonna do the creature designs with noise rep. It's like, whoa, this thing could actually be legitimate badass. And
Yeah.
that might be another reason why they got rid of Van Damme, not because of the reasons mentioned, because they realised that the version of Predator that they wanted for the film isn't the version that would suit this particular, story arc and production of the movie.
Well, that's true, because one of the things the director complained about with Van Damme was, Van Damme kept trying to do the kickboxing and the kicks, and the director's like, that's not what's supposed to happen. But Van Damme's like, this is how I see the character. It's like, it's not my vision.
Like,
that's 100% true. Like if
I'm
you
just,
would have had like a kickboxing Predator, it would have been kind of funny.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been taken.
Yeah, it
Well,
wouldn't have been taken seriously.
well, it's not just that though. Even if they played the Predator the way they were going to do it originally, and then the reveal that happens, you'd laugh. Because imagine this, right? So you're seeing the slow reveal to the Predator. So you see this scene where they get the scorpion. Then you see this scene, boom, you see that scene afterwards, all the deaths. And then you get right at the end and Arnie's jumped in the water.
He's
and
taking
then
off his mask.
Then, the thing gets fucked up, like, the water effects. And then the next thing you know, fucking that pops up.
It looks like a praying mantis
Yeah.
mixed with a dog.
So even looking at it there with obviously Dylan, it just wouldn't work. It just doesn't. That just looks hokey, like you've mentioned. It looks like a sci-fi, produced production. It doesn't look like a Hollywood classic.
I think the way that they have taken like a sci-fi movie seriously, like Alien and Aliens, like this was taken seriously. Like, what would people out in the jungle with military training do when they are exposed to some kind of extraterrestrial? They would use their military training. They would try it. If you would have taken it and gone the way that Jean-Claude Van Damme wanted to, it would have been more like I keep saying, funny. And you don't, this movie is not funny. This movie is serious. This movie is action-packed and suspenseful and a little bit scary. So, like,
definitely,
you're not going to get the same kind of effect, because if you had some kind of praying mantis doing like backflips, it's not going to give you the same effect as a person who is playing a hunter with camouflage, slowly, seeking out their prey.
Well, I think that, I can't make any proof of this, but Van Damme probably approached the film as like your basic action-packed film, but
it's just a cash grab for him to get a paycheck. Well, probably.
But the reality is, Predator is a science fiction film. It's like along the lines of Alien or Aliens. It's all in that realm, so you have to treat it that way. And I think
what has he done before this?
Who?
Van Damme. Like, that
was very early. Like, I think the earliest film that I remember seeing was Black Eagle.
Okay, so like when he went on to do his,
he was so used to doing martial arts.
But think about like what he's done, like kickboxer. That's what he wanted to
Bloodsport.
do,
Of course,
Bloodsport.
yeah.
And
Double impact.
that did not fit the
Right.
whole aesthetic and theme of this movie. And that's
Yeah.
okay. It really is, because he got those movies, and you know how
The
much I love
fact that
Bloodsport.
I think as well, though, if you look at it, they obviously had done quite a bit of the production before they got rid of him and got rid of that suit. Clearly, something wasn't working, and I don't just believe it would have been whether Van Damme had an attitude or whatever, because if a studio's producing a film and they give them a lot of money and they're on a budget and that budget isn't being spent well, or if they're watching a film, like you've seen even big movies today, you've seen movies get scrapped, like look, a Batgirl was scrapped because clearly they didn't agree with it. There's something about that movie, that's why they
There's
won't
been a
release
few
it.
movies recently that they
So-
hyped up and scrapped.
Yeah, and it's through budgeting or something, or they don't think, because there's one thing to produce a movie. It's also the spending to promote the movie. So, for example, if a movie costs 150 million to make, it might cost you an extra 50 million to do the promotion. So really, it's over 200 million, the budget, and it's got to make its money back. And clearly, when they were making this, they might have seen something with the budget, like the suit looks shit, the alien's not believable. I'm not believing in the performance of the alien, and the way the alien's acting, like samurai, fucking kung fu alien in a basically extraterrestrial war movie. It doesn't feel like an extraterrestrial war movie. It feels like a hokey pokey film. And then Stan Lee's probably looked at it and thought, I like the concept of the idea, but the alien's not working. So they might have even changed the end. Like, clearly they did. Changed exactly what the alien was. They've made him basically a soldier of war himself.
He's a soldier. Yeah.
And they did on like $15 million budget. I think they made 59 million worldwide on it or something.
Really?
Yeah.
So it was like a small budget.
Yeah.
So, but was
it always blows my mind that my grandfather, he always was a big fan of Predator, and I think the first time I saw it, when I'm thinking Predator, I always thought of it that I'm watching another war movie with my grandfather, which you shouldn't do with like your 7-year-old granddaughter, but clearly
it's like so altogether, if it made 59 million, say it cost 50 million for the production, they might have cost another 5 million to promote it worldwide. So say a budget of 20 million, it still not only made its money back, it made money on top.
Yep.
Because there's
despite the negative reviews, because it wasn't really well received.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's the same with like another film we're all of them, or both love were kaiju films. King of the Monsters, everyone considers that a flop because they reckon the time you take all the money for what it made in theatres, it potentially just made its budget back and its promotion cost. So it basically just made its money back without profit. Then it made profit on streaming and video sales, DVD, Blu-rays. That's where it made its profit. And the only reason the Monsterverse continued is because they had done King of the Monsters, but while King of the Monsters was out in theatres, they had already filmed JVK. They were making them one after the other because of how Kong Skull Island, how well that did, and how well Godzilla 2014 went. They were like thinking, all right, we're on our way to be like Marvel. But because of the bad reception of King of the Monsters, if that had flopped,
bad reception.
Because of the reception of that though, if they hadn't already had filmed JVK, I would imagine the Monsterverse would have ended. And because of the success of JVK, we've now had the New Empire, and because of the success of New Empire, I could imagine there is going to be another film, and obviously the Monarch legacy of Monsters is continuing.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, so that's basically what's happened there. So
I have a really serious question to ask all of you gentlemen.
I would not fuck.
Is it coming now?
You would not fuck a predator?
No.
I
Catch
might.
a predator.
I might, but I clearly predator. amazing,
This is her hot take. Get ready.
wonderful. I love this movie. I have nostalgic feelings for this movie. I've expressed it.
Here it
My
comes.
grandfather, who has been gone now for almost 15 years, he and I, we bonded over war movies.
Just
he loved
fucking
this movie.
spit it out already.
I think I like Predator 2 more than Predator.
Really?
She does.
That I've never heard before.
I really enjoy. I love.
She quotes that movie more than the original.
Want some candy?
I love Predator 2 just as much as Predator 1. I think they're equally as good. And now that they've done Prey, I can watch Prey, Predator, and Predator 2. It is a perfect trilogy.
And it feels good, right?
Yeah.
Like, it
Because
feels good.
the end of Prey, at the end of Prey, you get the
They
reveal
hand
of
over
the
the
gun.
Yes!
Then at the end of Predator 2,
Yeah.
when he beats he gets the same gun back.
Yeah.
You know,
And
that's
then
like in
Not making.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where they goes like that gif. That's me doing that when he had the gun at the end. I was like, oh.
and
Leonardo
it's like, and I look
Do you
at
think it's terrible? Never seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Never saw
Really?
what?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I did.
mm,
It's okay. It's fun.
I need
It's
to.
not
Yeah,
his
though.
best,
I-
but I like it.
Yeah, it's
so
alright.
with all said and
My
done,
boys are-
what would you rate Predator?
All right, who we're starting with?
I'll start off. I would give it. It's still a classic. I would give it a 10 out of 10 still. Predator 2, I'd give 9 out of 10. It
Billy Bob
loses
and
the-
Billy Bob from Varsity Blues. I give it a 10. A 10. I give it a 10.
Fucking 10. Yeah, I would give it a 10 out of 10 for sure.
It holds up.
Yeah.
I would give it this a 9 out of 10 and Predator 2 a 10 out of 10.
So
It's
you're the
okay.
opposite
Nothing
to
wrong
me.
with it.
You're not in trouble.
It's so close. Like, I don't know why I have resonated with Predator 2 more than I have with Predator, but like,
Well, it's easy because when Daniel Glover is like crawling up that pipe, he's like, I don't want to be up here, fucking pussy face motherfucker.
What
and
about
he's kind of doing the whole like Lethal Weapon thing. I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's
So-
just so much about
He's
it.
like, maybe I'll get lucky and fall.
So we've mentioned 10 out of 10 for Predator. We've mentioned we love Predator 2, but out of all of the Predator films, which is your least favorite? I'll be honest, the Predator was like a fucking asylum movie. It was like a fucking B movie on sci-fi.
What was the one in the
Alien versus Predator
Predator,
Requiem.
and
I
Predator,
absolutely
yeah.
detest. I've seen it twice. I will never watch it again. I couldn't
The
get
thing-
through it the
well,
second
see,
time.
What's the one in the sewer? I hated that one. Where it was a bunch of fucking teenagers and they're
That's Requiem.
yeah, I hate that one.
I
Can't
like it.
stand
It's
it.
just too dark. It's too dark. But here's the thing. I don't even consider the Alien versus Predator part of that franchise, even though they
Yeah.
are integrated. It's not really a Predator film, but
Yeah.
anything after Prey, like it's Predator, Predator 2, and Prey. Those are the top three. I don't care. I don't like any
Predator
other
2,
Predator movie at
Predator
all.
1, Prey.
Don't like any of the other Predator movies.
Writing, if we're going to do it that way, Predator 1, Predator 1, Predator 2, Predators, then Prey for me. I love Predators. I don't give a shit what anyone say. I don't think Predators is a bad film.
Boo.
I like
You wanna hear
Boo.
mine?
Throw shit, tomatoes at him.
What do you think, Tony?
I
Mine-
actually like the fact that it's on an alien planet and it did something different. And I like the fact that they were sent there. It's basically a training ground. It's like, you remember the
They
film?
fucking killed off Machete. That was bullshit.
Oh, he's all right.
He'll come back.
I like Predator, obviously first, and then Predators. Yeah, then Predator
You
2.
both need to be kicked in the balls.
Predator 2 got ruined for me because I had my friend watch it when he came here years ago, and he made fun of it the whole time. So like, I still
Did
love
you
Predator
smack
2,
him?
but like that like ruined it for me. But
Yeah,
and then probably
the one
Prey.
thing, the thing I think with Prey though, I could not understand the hype when everyone, it's the best thing. It's even better than the original. I was like, is it fuck?
No.
It's
I
because people don't understand.
Yeah, I didn't buy into the hype. What I liked about Prey was like we were saying, Tony, with like the hey, you with the gun. That's where the gun came from. And that's
Part of it's all reactionary, man. Like, you know, you had a female lead, which is fine.
She was
But then
awesome
people,
though.
yeah, but then people start getting on these very uh extreme ends. So you have the people like, oh my god, like it is woke in some ways, but the reality is everything's well acted. I don't have a problem with that movie at all. It's a 7 out of 10. It's good. It's better than the other ones in the series. I'm fine with that. But
Yes.
then you
Nah.
have people that hate it because it has a female lead. And I'm like, shut the fuck up, sit down.
Yeah.
but she was so
She was good. She's
she was
very
so
good.
empathetic, and she was so smart, and everything that she did, like so we watched it for the first time when we went to visit his parents who live in the
Yeah, it was
middle
on
of
Hulu.
nowhere,
Yeah,
like
Arkansas.
the middle of nowhere, and they hardly have a fucking internet connection. So we're watching it, and then we're getting the like circle, and like his parents are very, very conservative and very religious. So I was worried about watching something like that, but he told me like his mom likes Die Hard and action movies, and you know,
Yeah.
she's a sweet lady. So I'm like, all right, as long as this doesn't scare the sweet lady, we're fine. And I didn't feel like I absorbed the movie because there was so much lag. Like when I tell you they live in the middle of nowhere, they live in the middle of fucking nowhere. Like the cell phone reception as we were driving there would go to nothing. It would get the little like slash, like the Ghostbusters slash, and I'm like, what if we break down here? We're gonna die because it's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But anyway, we watched this movie with them with all the lagging, and I'm like, I think I liked it, but I feel like it was so much intermittent. Then we watch it again when we come home, and I'm like,
It could have been a lot worse.
this movie's not
I
bad.
mean, I
Like
wasn't
all
that
the
impressed with the Predators look, but I understood why they went that way.
I feel like they were doing it because they were trying to like
Because it
go
looks
back in time.
It's supposed to be like the
Yeah.
most primitive version of the Predator. That's what it's about. So
Well,
So when we watched it like uninterrupted, I was saying to myself, I understand why the Predator is acting the way he is, and I understand this chick because she is devastated about her brother. She is a strong, independent woman. She's dealing with all kinds of her own personal shit, and now she's got to deal with an alien. I get what she's doing because, and some of the things that they did with her too, really, this is gonna sound so stupid, but like it really resonated with me as a woman because like I feel like sometimes women think a little differently as men. So like when she was doing her whole like espionage and like hiding and thinking out things, it's really how I would knocking my mic all over the place. It's really how I would have felt and how I would have done things because we just talked about Predator for an hour and a half and we're thinking of like macho dudes, guns, this, that. She was very methodical and she was very, I am not going to approach until I have the advantage. And she thought about things for a long time. And then when it happened, it was more like an acceptance thing. Like the way that they kind of he's like and I really appreciated that because I think sometimes they take women nowadays and they're like, look at me, I'm 112 pounds. I can take a dude and throw him off a mountain. No, you can't.
yeah, they kept it
You can't.
realistic.
They
in
made it
terms of
very
her
realistic.
size and
Yeah.
speed.
Yeah, I don't dislike Prey. I think it's one of the better ones. It's better than the Predator. The Predator. It's way better than that pile of shite. But you can just tell via production it's a streaming movie for me. Production value, it feels like a streaming movie. Like I didn't like the beginning where
agree.
I didn't like the beginning when it came up 20th Century Fox present and then it had the Prey logo and then the fucking copyright thing and it's like you wouldn't have that in a theatre. You know what I mean? It's like so
You feel like it felt a little cheap.
It
almost.
felt like I just think production wise you can tell it's made for streaming. But the effects are great, the acting's great. I like the story. Like you said, Anubis, there is a bit of wokeness in it, but overall, it's a plot I enjoy because.
And I think that's what kind of hurt because they're promoting it for all the wrong reasons. Like you promote it because it's supposed to be a good science fiction film, but they were trying to like spend so much time on all the other bullshit.
They're like, look, it's a strong female lead.
Like, let the
Oh
story
my
tell us the
God.
story, man. Just let it play.
Who else is a strong female lead?
But
Ellen Ripley.
I can kind of see why they went the route they did. Like, I'm not talking about the story. I'm talking about putting it on streaming and the budget and why it feels like a streaming movie. Because if you look at the last few Predator movies, Alien versus Predator Requiem flopped. It was just crap. The Predator was crap. So basically, the Predator property was in jeopardy. And I guess instead of making it more big budget and putting it on theatres, they thought, right, we've got Hulu. We want to create some original content. We'll give it a go. We've got this great story, but do we take the risk giving it the budget it needs to put it in theatres, or do we just see how it goes on streaming? And it worked very well, and now there's not just talk of the next one's going to be called Badlands.
And they're gonna have another sequel too. I think they're doing.
Badlands. I like that.
They're doing Badlands. That's going to be set during the World War One or World War Two, and then they're doing another one that is going to be a direct sequel to Prey Part 2 or Prey 2, whatever they decide.
Yeah.
So you could go in many directions with the Predator series. Me personally, you've mentioned Jean-Claude Van Damme. I would love to see a Predator era film based in Shogun, Japan. With the samurais, that would be good.
And they've proven, well, I hate proven, but the Predator like existence has been around since Egyptians. So why not go back to Shogun?
It took them a while because I remember watching Predator 2 in the theaters and the ending scene on the ship where they see the Xenomorph skull. I was like, oh my fucking God.
Yeah. And he's like,
I saw the connection right away. I was like, and they were talking about it for years to do that crossover. And it just took them forever to get there.
I didn't mind the first Alien versus Predator film. I thought, yeah, it was great. But then I thought it was all right for what it was. But then, just like most film series that start off where you have like either a brilliant first one and the sequels get, not as good, but at least decent and, respectable. I just thought was a total 150. You went from like a decent, respectable first film. They could have went even further with the sequel and made it bigger and more epic. It made it a grand franchise that could have been continuing today. But I just think because it didn't do as well as the hope, and I think it's who they got as director. It just came across as a very cheap B movie and like very dark, and it's like
a lot of it's a lot of bad directing. Like they don't like the first movie. It has its flaws, even though I like Requiem more. But the first movie is the closest to the actual books that I have about Alien versus Predator. They actually deal with like a female heroine who joins up with a predator to defeat some xenomorphs. So the second film, I liked the action. I liked some of what's going on. But yeah, it was designed very poorly. And then the ending gets really fucking dumb. I'm glad they never did a third one of that because they would have been fucked up. But
do you have a favorite book from the Alien versus Predator
all
books?
3 of them that I have. I think there's actually a couple more, but I haven't gotten them. But I do love the series. It's some of my characters in my games that I play is based off Noguchi, which is the chick that's in the series.
That's where you got Noguchi?
Did you ever see the comic book for
I saw one of them. I never saw like an entire series, but they look pretty cool when I saw the one.
Oh, this is the one where it's like it was basically Predator 2 and like just saying about how everything's hot, and like a lot of it is Predator 2, but like the cop in it is more like Arnold's character in a way, and they pick up the mask and they see there's ships all over the place and stuff like that. So it's not just like one Predator; they're like all over.
I
That
just
was
feel
cool.
like
That'd
with
be
the
crazy.
Predator franchise, I think they've kind of squandered it. I think they could have done a much better job. I think after the second one, it took them years and years. I don't know why it took them so many years to do do the next one. It's like they had lost faith in the franchise, but
Yeah.
yet after years, they kept producing Alien films, and they gradually got worse. Or like I say, not worse, but compared to the first one and the second one, they weren't bad. They were reasonable. They were respectable. They weren't terrible.
Yeah.
But Predator for me went the opposite way. And like you say, Alien is. I don't know why. It's like they have more faith in the Alien franchise than they did the Predator franchise. And it's like,
Yeah.
And you have this
See,
amazing like antagonist in the Predator that you could just like totally do whatever you want with.
see, it's so funny because Predator 2 has become more of like a cult favorite, so to speak. Because like the Rotten Tomatoes reviews, the critics only gave it like 30%, whereas the audience gave it 44%. So it's not very well liked, and I think that's part of the reason why it dragged to even do anything else beyond that.
I'm in the minority. I'm the
No, Predator 2 is way better than both those dipshits that voted on that shit.
for me, the one thing I really loved about Predator 2 is because it is the exact opposite of Predator 1. And
It's
in
a concrete jungle, baby.
yes, and you're thinking like, okay, this is a drug dealer, this is a gang, this is some kind of like mafia, blah blah blah, and the Predator's like, no, I just want to like fucking gut people and hang them upside down and like scare people. Like,
Yeah.
well,
I don't know what it is about Predator 2 that it's the perfect like mix of.
Plus, you have Gary Busey. How do you
And
go
Gary,
wrong
yes,
there?
Gary Busey's great.
yeah.
It's the perfect mix of gore and one-liners, and it's not 80s, it's like early 90s.
1990.
But you
Yeah.
see, that's the reason why I like Predators, because this is how the order would watch them. So you got Prey, Predator 1, Predator 2, then you can go right into Predators because it's like a timeline. You go from the past to at the time the 80s, which would be the present, and then the 90s would be further in the present. Then you go into the future on this alien world. So you like go from early Earth to like earlier Earth to like present day, which would be Predator 2.
I think
Then
my
you-
problem with Predators is that you've got this group of like criminals. It's almost like Suicide Squad on an alien planet. But the reality is, you don't even give them a real shot at trying to be creative on their own. They all die pretty fast. I'm just like, what the hell, man?
Why
And
did they
then
even
Big
go
Nose
there?
is the one that survives. Of all the fucking guys you have on their, Big Nose is the
Man,
one that
you
fucking
have to admit though the twist of the one I'm nobody, I'm not anything, I'm just a dentist or whatever, a doctor or whatever, and then he turned out to be a serial killer. That was a great plot, because you always knew, well, why would they just take a regular dude?
There's always going to be like that conniving little squeezle bitch.
So he reminded me of that dickhead character out of Alien, who tricks Ripley in and he gets his comeuppance.
yeah.
That's who he reminds
Bert.
us of.
Bert.
Bert, yeah, he reminds me of Bert, yeah. But I heard that there was going to be a scene that didn't happen where Arnold Schwarzenegger and something would land, like an alien ship would land and a load of predators would walk off, but then there would be an older version of Dutch walk out with his gun and that. And it would have been Arnold Schwarzenegger, but for whatever reason, that was one of the rumour that I heard, or was an idea floating around, that he was going to be a part of the Predator team. So that would have been
Yeah,
awesome.
he was supposed to do another Conan too, but I guess they got scrapped.
And I doubt after his heart operation that he's just had his bypass, he's going to be, well, I know he's in the middle of doing a Furbar too, but even though he's doing these action films or television shows, you might see him like do a lot of swing and all that, but it'll be like Indiana Jones where they'll have too many
Well, yeah, he's got
doubles.
limited roles. I mean, limited roles.
But
So what do you guys, when you think of this movie, when you think of Predator, what is the first thing that comes to your mind?
Dutch and Dylan.
Oh, look at that.
See? The power.
You son of a bitch.
No,
Anubis.
It's like the epitome of the '80s. It really is. Like Arnold had already done a few films leading up to that. He was already becoming this big star. That was like it was funny because when Last Action Hero came out in the '90s,
God, I love that
I thought
movie.
that was like the beginning of the end for him, really.
yeah.
Yeah, it
But
didn't do very
Predator,
well.
Predator was like when he was right at the top. Like it just exploded, and I just remember loving it so much.
I think my favorite part, and what, like, if you said to me just in passing, like, Predator, in my brain, what I would think about is the mud all over Arnie and like popping up. That's what I think about, and that just proves how, like, I don't want to say intelligent, but like creative this movie
Well, but
is.
think about it, because that is sort of set up by the girl in Prey, because she has to kind of
Well,
start
no,
thinking
that's
like,
set up for the Girl in Prey.
well, no, she became before Dutch.
I know, but
But
in our
but-
timeline,
but-
he did
right,
that.
but it's all back to the primitive. That's what it's all about. Him having to go
You've got
back
you've
and-
got a lot of these people that like who come up with theories and ideas, and I know Prey's come out way after Predator, the first one, but there's now all these ideas is Billy a descendant of the female from Prey, which could make sense
Could
they're
be
both
because she's
Indians,
Native
they're both
American.
Native Americans, yeah. So
yeah.
that makes sense that she. And maybe it sounds weird. He's got like a sense of this because maybe he's heard like stories from his ancestors that have dealt with these mystical creatures.
I doubt they thought that through, but that's a cool theory. I like
Yeah,
that too.
I like that.
Yeah, it would have been nice if the actor who played Billy, he's no longer with us, he has sadly passed away. But it would have been nice if the actor who played Billy, Sonny, was still alive, because he could have just been himself as an older actor playing a different character in Prey. That would have been a great connection.
Yeah,
That would have been.
like her grandfather or something.
Yeah.
I love so much about just the Predator story, Predator character, Predator, etc. that, like, I think you have this like apex creature who is able to decimate, and then when you have someone, whether it be Arnie, whether it be, I don't know the girl's name from Prey, but you start seeing like, okay, this person has no chance at all. And the story just starts unfolding. And I know I'm waxing poetically about sci-fi movies, many sci-fi movies, but I feel like that's what Prey, Predator 1, Predator 2, especially, they make it feel like exactly what I said.
Yeah.
I have never encountered an extraterrestrial, I don't know if you guys have, who has the capability of just like fucking blowing us up and camouflaging themselves and doing all this bullshit, but
well, not when I was sober, not when I've been sober at least. But right, it's time I think the
that's what you would do.
Well, Neko, my friend, it's been a blast, but I think we need to try and wrap this up.
Oh my god.
So
Yes,
I'm gonna end it with this. I'm gonna ask you lovely people. So, Mr. Tony the Dead, have you got anything coming up on your channel?
I'm going to probably after this start recording a new slipcover pickups, custom slipcover pickup video, mostly post-apocalyptic stuff.
Oh, very good.
And I have some things coming in the mail that I'll probably just do like a pickups video, stuff like that.
Yeah, looking forward to them. If nobody knows, check out Mr. Tony the Dead's channel. He does a lot of horror content and he's got a great channel there.
And he's an acclaimed actor.
He's an acclaimed, he didn't win an Oscar, but he's getting up there, Mr. Tony the Dead. But yeah. Here we go, Mr. DJ Anubis in the Metal Tavern Radio. What is coming up on your channel?
So once we're done here, Neko and I, if she's still sober enough,
I need to eat. My stomach is growling.
we're going to be doing an unboxing, which we'll finally get to Tony's
We haven't
little
opened
gift
your
and some
box
other
yet,
stuff that
Tony.
I've got.
I was going to
At
ask
all.
if you did or not.
And then we're going to do a review for Velvet Goldmine tonight as well. So
Oh,
those will
very
be up on the
cool.
channel soon.
Very
So-
cool. Yeah. Well, as for
And
me,
I'm just gonna sit here and look pretty.
well, that's not hard, is it? So,
Very hard.
as for me in the entertainment headquarters, I'm going to be doing a trailer reaction for the new Transformers 1 animated movie because I'm a lifelong Transformers fan.
Same.
And
I didn't know you were Transformers.
Yes.
By the way, and I don't know about the movie that you're going to be reacting to, but apparently the voice actor for Optimus Prime in the original comics is the voice of Predator.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Peter Cullen.
Yep.
Yes.
What? I
So
can't
there's
do it now, I'm
another.
done.
There's another fun fact. So outside of that, I will be hopefully doing some more film reviews, and me and DJ Anubis will be getting to do a cinematic synergy coming to you all real soon. But this has been the entertainment headquarters. This has been the Retro Classic Movie Show. We hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you to my amazing guests.
Thank you
And
for having me.
you're always welcome, Tony, and obviously the lovely Neko, but or the lovely drunk Neko, or pissed Neko, whatever you want to call it. And my good friend DJ Anubis. Until then, we'll all catch us all at the next one.